Welcome back, Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classic slash non-classic. This is episode number 443 and Doubleshot number 360. Okay, two DC trades. First up, it's Justice League America, Volume 1, Extremists. Yeah, this actually collects like about 3 different stories. Yeah, basically like about 3 different. Well, actually, it's more like 2 stories plus a one-shot. Yeah. First, you have the Rebirth one-shot, which simply assembles this entire team. Yes. Which is consisted of, well, the characters in this cover, which is just, Batman, the Ray, Black Canary, Killer Frost, Vibe, Ray Cheeto the Atom, and Lobo. Yep. I should point out though that this Lobo here on the cover is not despite the fact this is set in the post-Flash continuity, this is not the Pretty Boy Lobo or the first Lobo that's in the continuity. This is more like the third Lobo, though this is more in tune with the original Lobo that Keith Giffen and Roger Stern created back in the 1980s. Yeah, this is more in tune with that one. Roy Cheeto is wearing the Atom suit from the Arrowverse. Yeah, that's what he's wearing. Now for Batman, this is actually one of 6 books he's in on a regular basis, though one of course is ending, and that's All-Star Batman. But this is one of 6 he's in. Now, the only other character who's actually in more than 1 or 2 books is just besides him is just Wonder Woman and Superman. Now apparently Black Canary now is joining him. Of course, Batgirl herself is regularly in 2 books. Yeah, she's regularly in 2 books, basically Batgirl and Batgirl and Birds of Prey. Black Canary, this is actually one of 3 titles she's in. She's in Green Arrow, this title, and Batgirl and Birds of Prey. Yep, 3 titles, which makes her one of 4 superheroes who's actually in more than 1 or 2 books on a regular basis. Everybody else who appears in this book, this is the only book they regularly appear in. Now, who creates some of these characters? Of course, Black Canary is an old character. The Ray is actually a creation of Jack Harris and Joe Quesada. Yeah, one of the very few good things that Joe Quesada did before he did be off for one more day. This Killer Frost is actually Caitlin Snow. Yes, this woman right here. She's a creation of Sterling Gates. Despite the fact the book does not list off her as the creator. Nope, it does not. The only people get like credit for creators is just the Ray and Lobo, though it's I thought it was Roger Stern and Keith Giffen. Roy Cheeto, I believe, is a creation of Gail Simone. Let me look him up. Let me look here. The main villain of the storyline actually is a creation of Keith Giffen. Keith Giffen, Joe Jones. Let's see. Let's see if I can find him on here. Roy Cheeto is a creation of, yes, he is the creation of Gail Simone and Grant Morrison. Yeah, that's who created this version of the character. This is only, prior to this, he only appeared in one-shot. He appeared in the series of one-shots that came before the start of this miniseries, or this ongoing series, excuse me. Basically, we just feature just the Ray, Vixen, Killer Frost, and the Atom. Batman, of course, already had a one-shot starting in 52. The only 2, technically, who appeared in the series did not have their own Rebirth one-shots are Lobo and Black Canary. The Black Canary, the only one thing that's close enough for it is just Batgirl and Birds of Prey Rebirth, and of course Green Arrow Rebirth. That's really it. But she didn't technically have one of her own. She did have a series prior to this, a series that was canceled with only 12 issues. And of course, also, one of the problems with her last ongoing series was the fact the series suffered through delays with the second half of the series. Don't know why, it just did. The Ray, now, the neat thing about the Ray, this is not the same Ray that appeared in the miniseries that Jim Palmer and Justin Gray did. This is a completely different character. Yeah, from what I can tell, yeah, this is a completely different character. It has nothing to do with that other Ray at all. Yeah. Let me look him up here. I don't think he's the same character. Let me take a look here. Come on, seriously? Let's see. Nope, it's a completely different character. Yeah, simply put, what Steve Orlando and Jodie Hustler did is they brought back the second Ray, who actually is the son of the original Ray. This is Ray Tito. Ray Terrell, yeah. He's the son of Happy Terrell, who is the original the Ray. He's the first person to hold it. It's something that they brought back this version of the Ray, and yet they couldn't bring back the other one, which, as far as I know, DC is on jack squat with that character. As for Killer Frost, well, prior to this, she's just been shown up sporadically prior to this, like first appearing in Firestorm. Of course, having her one-shot, doing very barely anything in Forever Evil. And then she joins Suicide Squad for some reason. And then, of course, this is actually the second time this volume where Volume of Justice League America started because of an aftermath of a major story. The last time was because of Thor of Atlantis. This time was because of Justice League versus Suicide Squad. But what about the previous volume, you might ask? The one that Brian Hitch did, the one that basically kept getting terrible delays, and the fact the series only put out 10 issues, despite the fact it was listed for 13 and having an annual. There's a very good reason for that. There was no reason why that book got started. It just featured the original lineup that Jeff Johns basically gave, and there's no reason why that certain characters were missing for no explained reason. This is a completely different lineup, and they're based on the Secret Sanctuary, though in here they call it Mount Justice. And the first story arc, they fight off against Lord Havoc and the Extremists. Now, their first appearance was actually in Justice League Europe number 15, which basically, that was during the JLI era, back in 1990. So, this is actually their first appearance post-Flashpoint that these characters appeared. It seems odd, though, that the first villain the JLA face off against is a group of villains that people barely have heard of. I mean, I kind of heard of Lord Havoc before prior to this, basically, and was reading Justice League Europe. But if you have never read Justice League Europe, you have no idea who Lord Havoc is at all. I had kind of an idea, but at least they kept the same costume for him. Yeah, unlike most when they do redesigns like this, they just change costumes for New 52 for absolutely no reason. You want to know who Lord Havoc is? This guy here is Lord Havoc. Yep. In a free Flashpoint continuity, he looked pretty similar. From what I can tell, yeah, there's barely any difference. Aside from the fact there's a little more yellow in his attire, but yeah, he pretty much has the same attire. Yep. The Extremists pretty much do the same thing they do in the pre-Flashpoint. They're just stooges of his. And when they first show up here, they're attacking Saratoga, not the historical battlefield, the town of Saratoga. So why would they attack there first? I have no idea. Now, according to Batman, this is a group about second chances, and he goes around recruiting people and recruits. Basically, Killer Frost was his first recruit, and he later recruited everyone. Now, the last person recruited was Vixen. Now, initially, Vixen said no, but Batman says it can't be a team without her, and they kind of basically co-lead the team in a way. That's basically what they do, which I do appreciate that Steve Elena was basically having her be a co-leader in a way. That's what kind of seems like it, because Batman is technically the lead of this team. The field leader is probably Vixen, despite the fact Batman's seen. And there's a press conference after the first arc, like, why isn't Batman here? He was clearly seen there. He actually doesn't support this team. Now, I do have now there is a reason for that, because Batman does not like making public appearances at all. Other heroes don't have a problem with it. He does have a problem with it, because he has to maintain a secret identity, and half the time he's supposed to be an urban legend. Now, he doesn't mind people taking photographs of him. He doesn't do any interviews at all. He just doesn't. It's just the way he is. And the fact, one thing I do appreciate about the Justice League America Rebirth one-shot is the fact it's implied that Lobo, prior to becoming a bounty hunter, he was a scientist. I mean, yeah, I kind of knew about this because he blew up his own planet. So, at least he had respect for Roy Cheadle. He basically supported him, basically trying to get him on the team, which is great. The second arc, it just kind of dealt with the aftermath of the first arc, and it dealt with stuff like, basically stuff we would see in real life. Stuff like unemployment, yeah, unemployment, pretty much a low economy, and this was basically in the Ray's hometown of Penn City, which is basically where he's from. Now, I don't know if this version of the Ray, I've heard rumors that he might be gay, but there's never been definitive proof of that. Excuse me, I think the guy is straight, though. The way Steve Orlando, he's actually the writer of this, it's implying that he's trying to set up a relationship between Killer Frost and Roy Cheadle, which is kind of interesting because Roy Cheadle, well, he has dated a supervillainess before. Yeah, he dated Giganta in his own book. Though the first time they met, she tried to eat him, and then somehow she developed an attraction to him, which basically led to a pretty good relationship between the two of them. Yeah. I'm surprised you don't have Lobo basically trying to hit on any of the women, because that's what he's known for doing, hitting on women. Though this is actually the first time he's actually joined a roster on Earth, and from what I can tell, it's a permanent basis. Unlike, let's say, when he joined the JLI, it was a temporary basis. Here, it's permanent because he's part of the roster. Yeah, though back then he was actually a lot thinner than he is now. Now he's just very bulky. Ivan Reyes, who basically is known for working with Jeff Johns and Green Lantern, he does the artwork in here. The artwork is gorgeous. Let's see. And the other artists in here are Philippe Autonomy, Andy McDonald, who also is the inker in here, Dogenius Neves, and Philippe Autonomy. Now, the Rebirth one-shot does tease future storylines. One, of course, is a storyline right now, basically dealing with Ray Palmer. Yeah, let me show up this this last page of this Rebirth one-shot. Yeah. Let's see. As far as I can tell, it says coming up in Justice League America. This panel right here, this one right here in the bottom, that's the current story right now. From what I can tell, I think, yeah, this was the first story arc right here. This is the current one right now. The other two, I'm not really sure exactly when this exactly is supposed to happen. But yeah, this I thought was actually pretty good rereading it. Now, I know some people didn't initially like this very much, but people do agree. This is better than Brian Hitch's Justice League because it has an actual villain, and he's actually a little more interesting. Instead of having the team fight random monsters for like a year and a half, let's actually put that's what Brian Hitch's run basically does. I mean, with the exception of a couple issues. Although his Justice League did is fight random monsters, a virus, and fight villains for a couple issues. That is it. That's all he does in his issues. Here, you actually have the team actually doing something. And there's actually a lot better teamwork in here than just, oh, let's just have your call, like, beam up. Like, yeah, these people working as an actual team. Great chemistry between these characters. Nothing much else to say, but it's a great start to this thing. I got this I got this during Batman Day. Now, initially, this trade cost about $17. I got this for $12. Yeah, because I got this for 35% off. I was kind of happy to get this one. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. Amazing. Excuse me. Next up is Adventures of Supergirl. This is just a trade that collects the entire 13-chapter series, while Digital Comic was released as a 6-issue miniseries, written by Sterling Gates, who wrote every single chapter, with artwork by Bejo, John Boyd Mayers, Pop Mahone, Cat Staggs, who does the covers here, and I think Cat Staggs was recently at Make Our Land, but I didn't have anything for him to sign. Emma Vazzani, Roy McCarthy, Carmen Cardio, and Emila Lapricio, I think that's how you pronounce it, yes. I do appreciate them actually having a credit for Supergirl in here, which is really nice. I kind of hoping that they would have given more credits to the other characters in here, like Vixen. Yeah, Jerry Conway should be credited for creating her. But yet they only do it for Lobo and the Ray. Yeah, that's quite stupid. And yet you have other characters appearing here, and yet they don't get credits. Heck, the Justice League America title doesn't get credit. Basically, you could say Justice League America created by Gardner Fox, and I don't know who remember the artist was, but you could at least give that credit instead of giving 2 credits for 2 characters. It's quite stupid. Heck, not even Lord Havoc gets a credit, which is quite stupid. But here, yeah, they do that. This, according to what I've heard from an interview from Sterling Gates, that this loosely ties in TV show. They haven't specifically said if this was canon or not. I think it kind of is, because it kind of fills in some gaps in this show, because, well, it goes on various missions. Now, there's only 3 villains appearing here. You have Rampage, a villain who as far as I can tell, never been in the show. Viral Dox, who is the son of Brainiac, and Prism. I think it's Psy, I think it is, yes. Yeah, this is Rampage in this comic book. Yeah. Gorgeous Orc basically does this. This is actually this really neat page. I've got to show this off. Of course, Alex Danvers, that's her in the black hair. Yeah, that's what she looks like in here. Let's see. I know there's a particular page I really want to show off here. Here's Cat Grant. Yeah, the artist does a pretty good job basically capturing the likeness of the actress plays on TV show, but it's similar, but not exactly like. But I think it's close enough. That's my opinion, anyways. Here's Viral Dox, aka Brainiac II. Yep, that's him. So here he's kind of like a hacker for some reason. Yeah. Let's see. Nightmare on Elm Street. Yeah, I think that's a nod to the film Nightmare on Elm Street. Here we go. Let's see. You have Supergirl in Kryptonian armor. It looks like similar to that of her cousin New 52, the way he wore that ridiculous thing. You also have her wear her post-crisis costume. Yep, that's it right there. The one she wore in Supergirl Volume 5. You have her as a Red Lantern. Here as a Star Sapphire, which is interesting. Let's see. What else? I think that's it. Yeah. I think this woman is named Psy. She looks like Carol. She looks like Carol Ferris. Yeah, it's just me, or is this character looks a lot like Carol Ferris. I mean, she's a stunning woman. Get that? Long black hair, and in fact, she's Star Sapphire, mistress of Fort Roz. Yeah, Fort Roz basically is a prison, which actually is from the comic. I actually forgot the fact it was, but yeah, it's from the comic books. Oh, and this is during the time. I think this is before that Kara found out that that Hank Henshaw was really John Jones. Sorry about that. There's this villain. I've never heard of this movie before. I don't think I've never really heard of. She calls herself Face It. She apparently is one of the guards. She dresses as one of the guardswomen of Fort Roz. And she's got silver skin. Yeah, don't know why, but she does. But this was actually really good. Now, this was reprinted as a 6-issue miniseries. I don't know exactly how that worked, especially with 13 chapters. Now, as far as I can tell, all the CW shows that are live action, anyways, have had tie-in comic books. The only one I can think of who's never had one is Legends of Tomorrow. Yeah, as far as I can tell, they never had one. And yet, Supergirl's had one, Arrow's had at least 2, and Flash has had at least 1 I can think of. But yeah, this is pretty good. From what I can tell with the comic, this actually takes kind of like during the first half of season 1. Because, well, Cat Grant's there, and the fact you have Martian Manhunter still calling Supergirl Miss Danvers instead of calling her Supergirl. Yeah, that doesn't happen much later in season 1. So, kind of like the first few episodes, I'd say. And of course, Wynn and Jimmy working with her at Catco. even though that in season 2, Wynn basically joined the DEO, and James Olsen became the publisher of Catco. Mm-hmm. This, I thought this was really good. I'm gonna give this a 9 out of 10. John Gate does a great job with this, and I got to hand DC to having Sonic Gates write this character again, because his run, if you ever get a chance to read his run for Supergirl Flying 5, it is amazing. It's a 2-year run. It's entirely collected in trade, and I like that the first few writers who wrote the comic book, none of his issues are skipped. None of them. Because if you look at the first around 33 issues, there are several issues that are skipped for no explained reason. They just skipped them because, oh, the regular writer didn't write them. But lucky enough, there's actually a new printing of the trades that collect that stuff, okay? Excuse me. But aside from that, that's really it. Stay tuned for the next episode, which I'm going to have 2 Transformer trades to talk about from the same series. Yep. But until then, I will see you there. Bye.